أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من شر الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Inshallah, we are going to today start discussing the rules of Tawaf. So, So these rules of Tawaf are found in Manasik al-Hajj from ruling number 226 to ruling number 326. So, so we are going to discuss these. And as you know, at the end of Manasik al-Hajj, there is this annex. In this annex, there are Q&As, and they might be, especially for Tawaf, they might be lengthy. So we are going to be on the topic of Tawaf for a quite long time. So, Inna Allah ma'a sabirin. So therefore, let's go and check out what is the first ruling. So basically, in an introductory wording, Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah says that, let's just make it a bit bigger. Yeah. So remember, we are when we discuss about Tawaf, so it's the Tawaf of Hajj, Tawaf of Umrah. Obviously, there are a few differences, but the tawaf itself, the conditions of tawaf, the restrictions of tawaf, all are same. Okay, so it doesn't matter Umrah or Hajj. The conditions and restrictions of tawaf and the obligations of tawaf, they are similar, and very few technical things might be there. So the first wajib was entering the state of Ihram. We are talking about Umrah al-Tamattu, Umrah al-Mufrada. We're talking about the Tawaf at the first stage of the Tawaf. Like, for example, the first thing you do was entering the state of Ihram, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, and you locked yourself into the Ihram. Now you entered Makkah. So in Makkah, the first thing you do is Tawaf. Second, Salat al-Tawaf. Third, sa'i walk between Safa and Marwa. After that, you clip off a little bit of your hair, okay? Get out of Ihram. So if it was the Umrah al-Tamattu, you're done until the days of Hajj come, because Tawaf al-Nisa and Umrah al-Tamattu is together with Hajj al-Tamattu. However, in the Umrah al-Mufrada, there is Tawaf al-Nisa. So this is one of the differences between Umrah al-Tamattu and Umrah al-Mufrada. So سيد السيستاني دام ظله says الطواف هو الواجب الثاني في عمرة التمتع. Tawaf is the second obligation in عمرة التمتع. The same in عمرة المفردة, because first was entering the state of Ihram, and that was with the intention of labbaik. And now second thing you do is when you enter Makkah, do tawaf around the Kaaba. So what if someone abandons the tawaf intentionally? ويفسد الحج بتركه عمدا. The Hajj becomes invalid if someone intentionally abandons the tawaf. سواء كان عالما بالحكم أم كان جاهلا به. Regardless of that person who abandoned the tawaf, has the knowledge about abandoning it invalidates the tawaf and it is wajib, or no, he was not aware. So regardless of that person being knowledgeable about the obligation or unaware about the obligation. So, وعلى الجاهل كفارة بدنة سواء كان عالما بالحكم أم كان جاهلا به. So he doesn't know the ruling or he knows the ruling, regardless. وعلى الجاهل كفارة بدنة. Budna is camel. If someone is unaware, then the penalty is that he is going to pay a penalty of slaughtering a camel. And this is also based on obligatory precaution. So ignorant person, I mean, you're going for Hajj. Learn a little bit. I mean, Tawaf, Hajj is all about visiting the house of God. And you do not visit the house of God. You do Safa Marwa, you do everything. You do Arafat, Mina, Muzdalifah. But what about the main purpose? Visiting the house of God. Hajj, that's the core thing, that the essence of Hajj, the Kaaba. You do everything except for Tawaf around the Kaaba. And you see thousands of people during Tawaf. Haven't you even asked a question? Why are these doing? Shouldn't I be doing? I am here. Why am I not doing? These are very basic questions and they come into mind. So this kind of jahil, ignorant, we said ignorance, there are two types, intentional and intentional. So here this ignorance is not going to be helpful. On the contrary, there's a penalty as well, kafara. So kafar, and that not simple kafar, not a cow or a sheep, no, a camel once and for all. So ويتحقق الترك بالتأخير إلى زمان لا يمكن إتمام أعمال العمرة قبل زوال الشمس من يوم عرفة. So what is the definition of abandoning the tawaf? Okay, we are talking about now tawaf al-umrah, umrah al-tamattu. So tawaf umrah al-tamattu is abandoned if the delay happens in a way that there is no time left between completing the a'mal of umrah before the noon of the day of Arafah. Because noon of the day of Arafah is the first moment of the manasik of Hajj. The first moment is entering the state of Ihram in Mecca, okay, and saying labbaik. But then you go to Arafat and the first amal, like, or you can say second, like now for Tawaf, first thing was labbaik, entering the state of Ihram, then Tawaf. In Hajj, first thing is labbaik in Mecca, then entering the day of Arafat in the noon time. So if you have not performed Tawaf of Umrah al-Tamattu, that means Salat al-Tawaf is not there. That means even if you have done Sa'i, the sequence is not there. So that means you have not done anything in Umrah and you are going to enter. So you don't have enough time left. Okay. If you don't have enough time left between performing your Tawaf of Umrah al-Tamattu and the noon time of the day of Arafah, because traveling, though it's 20 kilometers about, traveling from from Makkah to Arafat on the day of Arafah is very lengthy journey time-wise. The buses, they go slow unless if you walk 5-6 hours, okay? You start your work early in the morning and that sun ray hits your head, boiling it, okay? And umbrella, daytime, kafara. So all these things you have to take into consideration that don't delay the tawaf until you have a very short time. Now, this is normally, for normal hujjaj, it's not the case because they come early, before 3-4 days at least. But there are people, they're called rapid hujjaj. They call it Hajj Sari'a, okay? The fast Hajj people. These fast Hajj people, what do? They come on 8th of Dhul Hajj or sometimes 9th of Dhul Hajj early in the morning. And they do their Umrah. And then immediately they enter the state of Ihram because they're already wearing Ihram. Libasul Ihram, they're wearing. So they enter the state of Ihram. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik and go to Arafat. They need to arrive there before the noon. The noon is the time of staying in Arafah. Intentionally, you cannot delay. However, unintentional, there are rules we are going to discuss. So he says here, ويتحقق التأخير. Excuse me. Yeah, there you go. ويتحقق التأخير, and the delay ويتحقق الترك بالتأخير, and the abandoning of tawaf is done by delaying the tawaf to a time بالتأخير إلى زمان لا يمكنه إتمام أعمال العمرة قبل زوال الشمس من يوم عرفة. He delays the tawaf of Umrah al-Tamattu to a time that in that time, small time frame, he is not able to complete the A'mal of Umrah al-Tamattu, because A'mal of Umrah al-Tamattu is not only tawaf. No, it is tawaf, salat, sa'i, and taqsir. So still sa'i, I mean, it's not like you'll be done in that so fast in that small time frame. So if this much time is left, that he is not able to complete the amal of Umrat al-Tamattu before the noon time, Zawal al-Shams, of the day of Arafah, min Yawmi Arafah. Okay, so now we know what's the delay, the narrowness of the time in a way that the amal cannot be completed. So Sayyidina, if the Umrah becomes batil, invalid, is he stuck in his ihram? How will he get out of his ihram? Can he change his ihram from Umrah al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Tamattu? Like some other scholars, they do in certain cases. Sayyid al-Sistani Damadullah says, no. ثم إنه إذا بطلت العمرة بطل إحرامه أيضا. If the Umrah becomes invalid, it's a whole package. Ihram becomes invalid. على الأظهار, most apparently. That means the evidences indicate that only his Umrah becomes invalid. He stays in an ihram. That's other scholars might have said. Sayyid Sistan says, no. Looking into the evidences, the zahir from the evidences, the apparent is from the evidences that more apparent to me is al-Azhar, like most apparently, the Umrah becomes invalid and the Ihram becomes invalid. So Ihram doesn't stay. Because many times you'll see in the rulings, Umrah is invalid, Ihram stays. He can convert it to Hajj, Hajj al-Ifrad. Khalas, no Hajj al-Tamattu. The type of the Hajj changes. We discussed the difference between Hajj al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Ifrad. Hajj al-Tamattu requires Umrah al-Tamattu. Hajj al-Ifrad requires Umrah Mufrada anytime. Okay, it's not connected, but Umrah al-Tamattu and Hajj al-Tamattu are connected together. So here, so can he change his intention, his ihram, converted, like in many cases? Yes, say this is, and he says you can, but in this case, he said no. What appears to me, or apparently, or most apparently, from the evidences is that his ihram also becomes invalid. ولا يجزي العدول بها إلى حج الإفراد. And it will not be sufficient for him to convert his intention of Ihram from Umrah al-Tamattu to Hajj al-Ifrad. That means Umrah is gone. Now at least he's there, he can do the Hajj al-Ifrad, as in some of the rulings. إلى حج الإفراد. وإن كان ذلك أحوط استحبابا. So it is not sufficient, though it is recommended precaution that you are in Makkah, just do Hajj al-Ifrad at least. وإن كان ذلك أحوط استحبابا, though it is recommended precaution to perform the Hajj al-Ifrad, change it to Hajj al-Ifrad. But will it be sufficient? He says no, it will not be sufficient. Okay, so it will be in limbo. It might be accepted, it might not be accepted. So what should he do? So he makes the intention of raja, hope that it is sufficient, hope at it is required, hope that it is done. Okay, this Hajj is done. It's hope only, not no confirmation. وإن كان ذلك أحوط استحبابا, even though it is a recommended precaution, بأن يأتي بأعمال حج الإفراد رجاء, that even though it is recommended precaution that he performs the Hajj of Ifrad, Hajj al-Ifrad, hope of its requirement, hope of its acceptance. بل الأحوط استحبابا, more even, it is recommended precaution أن يأتي بالطواف وصلاته والسعي والحلق أو التقصير منها بقصد الأعم من حج الإفراد والعمرة المفردة. So let's take step by step. Okay, so let's take it step by step. Number one, the guy delayed. In a way, khalas, the noon time of Arafah, he will not be able to reach Arafah. So what should he do? His tawaf of Umrah is invalid. He's supposed to do the Umrah al-Tamattu before going to Arafah. So now he has three options in general, regardless of the opinion of Sayyid Sistani. So then we'll see Sayyid Sistani, what does he choose? Some scholars might say, okay, khalas, your ihram is okay, but you can't do Umrat al-Tamattu, so you can't do Hajj al-Tamattu. So do the way Imam Hussein alayhi salam did, converted his ihram to Umrah al-Mufrada, completed Umrah Mufrada and left. So change your ihram to ihram Mufrada, okay? But Imam Hussein did not delay. It was circumstances. I'm just giving example to understand what will happen to your ihram of Hajj, Umrah al-Tamattu. So you will convert it to Umrah Mufrada, do your A'mal, do Tawaf al-Nisa, Taqsir Tawaf al-Nisa, and done. This is one opinion. Other opinion is, no, since you are there in Makkah, Umrah al-Tamattu gone, you are still in Ihram, change your ihram into intention, with intention that I'm now going to do Hajj al-Ifrad. As in some other cases, you have to do that. But here you intentionally or unintentionally delayed the tawaf, okay, until, or you did not perform the tawaf until the time of Arafat came. So khalas, you're already in ihram, change the intention of ihram, just say labbaik as a precautionary measure to fix that new intention and proceed to Arafat, and this will be Hajj al-Ifrad later on, whenever even the same year after Hajj or later, you can do Umrah Mufrada. It's not connected to the Hajj al-Ifrad. But so you need one Umrah, one Hajj, you'll be done. And then the third is that your Umrah is invalid, your Ihram is invalid, you're no more in Ihram, okay? And you can't do Hajj al-Ifrad. So just go back home and next time remember not to be tardy and delay your Tawaf, okay? These are the options that can be used, that can be presented by various ulama. So Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah, his choices, most apparently, his Umrah is invalid, his Ihram is invalid. Okay? That's number one. Then he wants to echo what other opinions are and give him some hope, like hope of its requirement or hope that it can be accepted, the hope of acceptance. But will his wajib hajj be taken into consideration? No. According to Sayyidi Sistani, no. We're just, since he's there, let's do these things in hope. So what is fine? Your ihram is batil. Your umrah is batil. Your hajj is batil. Okay? So this is the thing. He says that وَيُفْسِدِ الْحَجْ بِتَرْكِ عَمْدًا. If you intentionally leave it, that means abandon it, did not do, that means your hajj is invalid. But what about my umrah? Your umrah is invalid, most apparently. Oh my goodness. So now what should I do? So he says, you'll have to do your wajib hajj. But what now? I'm in Makkah. Okay, no problem. So what you can do now, okay, that your wala'ij al-udul, hajj al-ifrat will not be solution. So it's recommended precaution that you are in ihram, perform the ihram with the intention of hajj al-ifrat. Converted, but it's a raja'an, it's like hope of its requirement, hope of its acceptance. وإن كان ذلك أحوط استحبابا بأن يأتي. So this is the second stage. First, invalid. Then, okay, try to convert it, which is recommended precaution, to Hajj al-Ifrad. وإن كان ذلك أحوط استحبابا. So perform your a'mal of Hajj al-Ifrad, raja'an, hope of its acceptance. Rather, recommended precaution is to perform the Tawaf. You are in Ihram. So perform the Tawaf, Salat of Tawaf, Sa'i between Safa and Marwa. Shave your head or perform taqsir, because we are now making it Umrah Mufrada. So يأتي بالطواف. Which intention is going to tell you? Salat al-Tawaf. Which intention? Umrah Mufrada, Hajj al-Ifrad, Umrah al-Tamattu. Umrah al-Tamattu, forget about it. We are now seeing Hajj al-Ifrad or Umrah al-Mufrada. Tawaf, Salat al-Tawaf, Sa'i or Halq, because shaving the head is permissible in Umrah al-Mufrada, in Umrah al-Tamattu, no. Or taqsir. So it says shaving the head or clipping off, cutting a bit of your hair, minha. So Sayyidina, what is the intention? I'm going to do all these. He says you do this all with a general intention. بقصد الأعم من حج الإفراد والعمرة المفردة. Hajj al-Ifrad and Umrah Mufrada. So you are going to this A'mal, but isn't Hajj al-Ifrad, doesn't Hajj al-Ifrad has Wuquf bi Arafat, going to Arafat? Yeah, you can go to Arafat and you can perform your Arafat, rituals of Arafat, Mina, Muzdalifah, and do these things. You don't have to do these now, today, just move. You don't have enough time, because if you are going to do A'mal of this Umrah, you will miss the Arafat. Now it's all become Raja. Okay, so if I'll go to Arafat with the intention more general than Hajj al-Ifrad and Umrah and Hajj together, but Ifrad, not Tamattu. So I'll go there with this general intention. And I'll go to Muzdalifah, and I'll go to Mina, and I'll plant the stone, and I'll give the sacrifice, all with the intention general. These are components of Hajj. And then what happens? I will bring the A'mal Tawaf around the Kaaba with the intention more general than the Hajj al-Ifrad and Umrah al-Mufrada. 2 rakat Tawaf, Sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and then I'll do Taqsir, because remember Umrah Mufrada, so we are merging Umrah Mufrada in Hajj al-Ifrad. We're making a general intention, A'am, more general intention, which is inclusive to both Hajj al-Ifrad, Umrah Mufrada. You performed your Amal, finish. That means what is now? Now what you have done is two things merged together, Hajj al-Ifrad and Umrah Mufrada. You still did Amal of Hajj, you did Amal of Umrah Mufrada. What does that mean? That means A, B, C. If your Ihram was invalid, all these things are, you'll get the Thawab, inshallah. If your Ihram was converted in the hope of acceptance, then it's either Hajj al-Ifrad and either Umrah al-Mufrada. If Hajj al-Ifrad was not accepted, at least you have done Umrah Mufrada. You see how the pyramid goes down. First, Umrah al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Tamattu, not, you can't do it. You delayed your tawaf around the Kaaba. So, okay, then what should I do? I'm stuck in the ihram. No, your ihram is batil. But no, I heard this, can I change it to ifrad? Yes, it's a recommended precaution. So change it to ifrad. However, in the not as a direction to the validity of Umrah, but hope of its acceptance. That means shady, in a gray area. Okay. And you can go back hometown. You don't have to do all this. But it's recommended precaution. And when you go to Arafat and do all these things, so do both A'mal of Hajj al-Ifrad and then Umrah Mufrada. And that's why he says that at least you have done something, but did your Hajj become Hajj al-Islam? No. Hajj al-Islam is Umrah, because you are coming from far away. Those people who come far away, their obligation is Hajj al-Tamattu. Hajj al-Tamattu requires Umrah al-Tamattu. Umrah al-Tamattu, thank you so much for messing it up by delaying the Tawaf. So now you have done something, hope Allah accepts it, but as a religious responsibility of relieving your Hajj al-Tamattu, obligatory Hajj al-Islam, it's stuck. That means next year you have to do whatever it takes to come back and collect money or whatever, because it's stuck in your shoulder that you messed up. You're almost there. You delayed the tawaf. You shouldn't have delayed the tawaf of Umrah al-Tamattu. Okay? Conditions of tawaf. يشترط في الطواف أمور. There are conditions in tawaf. First thing, intention. النية. الأول النية. So يشترط في الطواف أمور. There are conditions that are required in performing the tawaf, circumambulation around the Kaaba. For الأول النية. First النية. Now النية, should I say, oh, I am doing the tawaf around the Kaaba 7 rounds for my Hajj al-Tamattu, Umrah al-Tamattu, Umrah al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Islam, or Umrah al-Mufrada, or this. You don't have to say it, but it's recommended to say it. Many people, they are so peculiar about, I want to say it, I want to say it. Yes, it's just inside your heart, inside your nafs, inside your mind. If somebody asks you, what are you doing? What are you planning to do? Tawaf around the Kaaba. Why do you want to do it? Because it's wajib, obligatory upon me. Why is it obligatory? Because it's part of Umrah al-Tamattu, Hajj al-Tamattu. Why do you want to do this? Because it's wajib upon me. Why it is wajib? Because it's my first Hajj, Hajj al-Islam. And why do you want to do this Hajj al-Islam? To achieve the nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this meaning is there in your mind and heart and soul, intention is there. Vocalizing it is mustahab. النية بأن يقصد الطواف متعبدا به بإضافته إلى الله. So what is the intention? That tawaf, the intention is tawaf is done as a form of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not other than Allah. That's number one. What is number two? Number two is spiritual aspect. So number one is technical aspect or the obligatory aspect. This tawaf I am doing is as a form of worship. That means no riyah, no show off, no this, no that. Only Allah and Allah as a worshipper. متعبد يقصد الطواف متعبد. I am doing this tawaf as an ibadah, as a form of worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. That's one component. So when you say I'm worshiping to Allah, then there's a spiritual component. What is this? إضافة تذليلية. That means I'm worshipping, I'm performing this tawaf in worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in humility, in total humility. Humiliation, because you are wearing those two cloths. You are like now slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the most beautiful relation of Khaliq and Makhluq, that the Makhluq, the servant of Allah, the creation accepts that is nothing in front of creation, the creator, nothing in front of the one who's the only Lord of the world. There's nothing in front of him. And when he accepts that, acknowledges, that is the beauty of the relation that I acknowledge. Like when the wife acknowledges that the husband is her husband and she has certain responsibilities. That's the beauty of the relation, that she accepts what are her obligations. And the same thing for the husband, when he accepts. So in the relations, when people, they accept their duties and responsibilities, that adds beauty in the relation. For us with Allah, He's our creator, He's the God, He's the Malik and Al-Mamluk, He's the creator and Ma Khalik and Al-Makhluk and all these things. When I make myself submissive in a way, in very humility, lowest, the lowest, and He's the highest of the highest. Al-Aliyul A'la. And I'm the Dhalilul Adhal in front of Him. So here, that kind of thing is a spiritual aspect added to the intention. And then what else? So number one, the concept of worshiping only Allah. Number two, the aspect of worship in humility. Number three, to define what are you doing. So I'll read it again. Number one, intention. Intention is composed of three things. To make an intention of sincerely worshipping only Allah. Number one. So this act is done, tawaf is done sincerely and in loyalty to serve Allah and to worship Allah alone. Number two, this relation of worship is relation in total humility to the highest of the highest, in front of the highest of the highest. And then doing 7 rounds around the Kaaba for my Umrat al-Tamattu, specify what you're doing. مع تعيين المنوي, with specifying what was intention, as it was intention, and it was mentioned in the intention of Ihram. Done? So number one done. Now we open the portal for number two, which is a bit lengthy. You'll have to tolerate. Okay. الثاني الطهارة. Remember in the hadith, what is it? What has been? What is it been? What has it been said about the tawaf? At-tawafu kas-salat. Tawaf is like salat. So whatever ahkam, rules and regulations and restrictions and conditions you have in salat, most of them are applied in tawaf as well. So tawaf is like your salat. At-tahara min al-hadathain. Purification from both metaphysical impurities. Hadath al-akbar wal-asghar. Major metaphysical impurity, minor metaphysical impurity. And what does that mean? You already know that because you have studied the chapter of Salah, but I'll just refresh remind yourself and myself. Hadath al-akbar, those, those things which happen to a human, which causes metaphysical impurity to them, such as private relations with spouse, such as touching the dead body, such as women being pure from the monthly period, and all those kind of things which requires a ceremonial bath or ghusl. That is hadath al-akbar, major, which requires ghusl. Minor, which requires wudu, minor impurity. You sleep, is sleeping impurity? Yeah, I mean, it invalidates the wudu, and wudu is the state of purity. So impurity doesn't mean only releasing the gas or urine or stool or those kind. No, it's also sleeping is also considered invalidator of the wudu. So one should be pure. The first second condition is of tawaf is purity from both types of impurities, major impurity and minor impurity. So if he has done the ghusl, then in many cases ghusl, when you do the ghusl, you don't require wudu. If not, if you don't have major impurity issues, ghusl issues, then you have to do wudu. Without wudu, you do the tawaf, kiss your tawaf goodbye. So that's what he says. فَلَوْ طَافَ الْمُحْدِثُ عَمْدًا أَوْ جَهْلًا أَوْ نِسْيَانًا لَمْ يَصُحْ طَوَافُهُ. If a person who circumambulates around the Kaaba or does a tawaf and he was in a state of impurity, metaphysical impurity, hadath, amdan, intentionally or unintentionally, unknowingly, or out of forgetfulness. They all are same. Similar to the salat. If your salah and your wudu is not correct, intentionally kiss your salah goodbye. Unintentionally kiss your salah goodbye. Forgetfulness, kiss your salah goodbye. Same thing, tawaf, kiss your tawaf goodbye. Intentionally, unintentionally, out of forgetfulness. The exceptions are where the exceptions are in the physical impurity. If you have blood on your body, you did not realize unless after salat, after tawaf, it's okay. Because that's physical impurity. In physical impurity, there are flexibilities. In metaphysical impurity, there is no flexibility. Okay? So the tawaf will not be correct. Ruling number 285. And this is interesting. Many people, they ask, you see, somebody might be bloating, must have eaten a lot of garlic, ginger, beans, whatsoever, bean burrito, I don't know, whatever creates the gases in the stomach, okay? And his stomach was bloating and he was in tawaf. And you know, sometimes these people, there are some crazy people doing tawaf. They have these elbows that they make their way out and they don't mind kicking the people. But you don't kick because you are doing tawaf for Allah and you're respecting those, and you're not as animal as these. Some of the people, they have this animal nature. So you observe your humanity, and may Allah forgive them and accept them as well. But this animal nature, kicking people just to do your tawaf and not minding about other people and this and that, is not acceptable. Okay? So what happens here, that this guy is doing tawaf, Allahumma inni, and this dua, and this guy, crazy guy, comes and whoopsie daisy, kicks on his stomach, and all the gases are there, and these are gases stuck for hours. Imagine those poor people are doing tawaf around the Kaaba. What will happen? Will the Kaaba become empty because of this emergency case, like some kind of... No, it does not. People don't care. Even if you blow off those nasty bombs, their dirty bombs, they will do their tawaf. Okay, so so now you are in problem. So you are in the state of metaphysical impurity. So gas is not physical, physical impurity. It's a gas. What will you wash in gas? But it has created a state of metaphysical impurity, which requires wudu. So how will you solve this problem? Let's see. Ruling number 285. إذا أحدث المحرم أثناء طوافه فللمسألة صور. If a person in the state of ihram encounters metaphysical impurity like gas or drops of urine comes out, or and these crazy people, when they kick on the stomach, sometimes stool might come out. Forget about the gas. I mean, the people, they feel that kind of thing. But just recite Surah Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq and do tawaf, so Allah will protect you from these kind of people. I mean, poor people, they were not given information properly, so I can't even blame them. They're all guests of Allah. Let's try to have some positivity here, okay? So, الأولى أن يكون ذلك قبل إتمام الشوط الرابع. So remember, the criteria of fixing of tawaf is before completing the fourth round or after. How many rounds are there in tawaf? 7 rounds. So from 7 rounds, if you have passed half, so the rules are lenient. If you have not passed half, the rules are a bit tough. Ulamas, they have differences of opinion in this. Some say 3.5, some say between 3.5 and 4. Say the Sistani has made it easy. 4 is your criteria. Fourth round completed, you have fifth, sixth, seventh, 3 rounds left. That means more than half completed. Fourth round not completed, you are doing your tawaf and you are just going to be like, let's consider this as tawaf area. So it's going to, let's consider this Hajj al-Aswad, this corner. So it's coming to close to the Hajj al-Aswad, and yes, and yes, and yes. There's the fourth round. And yes, and yes, and whoopsie daisy. Especially in Hajj al-Aswad area, it's heavily crowded, and that's where people are beaten. So that guy who's holding his gases, you know, like he's just like little bit left for the line of Hajj al-Aswad and the green light, little bit just is going to whoop, somebody hit his stomach, everything was released. Now what should he do? He did not complete fourth round, but he was there. Once half a step was left, sorry, he did not complete fourth round. He puts his step on the line of Hajj al-Aswad and takes another step out. That's when we call he completed fourth round. You're getting it or not? So close. Yeah. Who told you to be in that crowd, especially if you're a bloated stomach? Go a bit farther. No, but I want to finish the tawaf fast. I'll go farther. It's long tawaf. More, I'm afraid. No problem. Next time, have those carbon pills or whatever things to help yourself. I mean, may Allah bless these people there. Some of them, no matter how many carbon pills they get, they said, Sheikh, we can't. It's just become disease, you see. May Allah help these people. So therefore, so just like this much is left for fourth round to be completed. So now what? Normally, he has to redo the whole, go get your wudu, redo the whole thing. But if fourth round was completed, then go get your wudu and complete. But let's see what Sayyid Sistani says, because case of wudu is many time an exceptional case. As long as you can do the wudu in the 10 minutes of time frame, which is you should not leave more than 10 minutes gap between the rounds, or between stopping where you stopped and then continuing. So leaving the gap between, not too much. And in istifta, he says not more than 10 minutes. Ruling number 285. إذا أحدث المحرم أثناء طوافه فللمسألة صور. If a person in the state of ihram encounters metaphysical impurity, okay, and hopefully minor, not the major, where will you go to do the ghusl? Okay, you'll have to go back to the hotel. So we are considering minor metaphysical impurity, okay, like it requires wudu. So there are scenarios. 1, 2, 3. So let's see what are these 3 scenarios, and we'll call it a day. Scenario number 1. أن يكون ذلك قبل إتمام الشوط الرابع. That whoopsie daisy happened before completing the, see the Hajj al-Aswad, I'm saying, pointing at the corner here, that's our Hajj al-Aswad. Before completing the 4th round, he did the 1st round and his hadath happened. He did the 2nd round, his hadath happened, or 3rd, or he was doing 4th qabla itmam, before completing the 4th round. So Sayyidina, what should he do? يبطل طوافه. His tawaf will be invalid. Kiss your tawaf goodbye. وتلزم إعادته بعد طهارته. And it is necessary for him, okay, it's obligated, it is necessary that he repeats the tawaf entirely. But I did 3.99% of tawaf. You did not do 1.01. You did not complete the tawaf. That's if you had this micromillimeter line of Hajj al-Aswad. Before there used to be line of Hajj al-Aswad. Everybody will come stop the traffic, and people will pile up and they start pushing. So they remove the line. Okay, so now there's no line, but you have to look at the green light on your right hand side. That's where Hajj al-Aswad starts. So repeat تلزم الإعادة بعد الطهارة حتى إذا فيما كان صدور الحدث بعد بلوغ النصف على الأظهر. Remember, some scholars, they say if he had reached the 3.5, like say this line, this corner of the screen is, so that corner is Hajj al-Aswad, that corner is beside Hajj Ismail, this corner of the screen is what they say, the 3.5, and this one where Mustajar, birthplace of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and this Hajj al-Aswad. So he completed the 3rd round and he came in this corner, 3.5. Some scholars, they said, apparently, if he has done 3.5, then he can just do wudu. That means if he's done if he was doing 3.5 and little bit was left like 3.5, oops, daisy happened. So he said, no. Other ulamas. Sayyid Sistani has the rule of completing 4th round. So he says, even if he had reached the 3.5 line of tawaf, like if he had done 3.5 rounds of tawaf, and the hadath was discharged, I mean the wudu became invalid, where he reached 3.5, most apparently. That means other ulamas, they say apparently 3.5. No, most apparently, just if it happens before completing the 4th round, completing the 4th round. So there's scenario number 1. Before completing the 4th round, repeat the tawaf. What about second scenario? Second scenario says أن يكون الحدث بعد إتمام الشوط الرابع. So he completed the 4th round and he's going to start the 5th round, and that guy, whoopsie daisy, kicked in his stomach and the infusion happened. Or okay, so the wudu became invalid. That is after completing. That means it could be in 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. Before completing the 7th round, here is going to complete the 7th. Whoopsie daisy. But I completed my tawaf. No, there was this much left in your tawaf. So what will you do? Can we say tawaf is invalid? No. We will say 3 round, whatever rounds are this issue happened, that you need to redo it, complete it, not the whole tawaf. Because you completed 4th round, you completed 5th, you complete 6th. In 7th round, this happened. So you complete and you do the wudu and come back and you do the 7th round. So let's see. أن يكون الحدث بعد إتمامه الشوط الرابع. If the metaphysical impurity encountered after completing the 4th round, وَمِن دُونِ اختياري. It was not an option. This guy's elbow hit hard on his stomach, okay? Or any other thing. Urine came out. Stool came out. So what does he do? He needs to remove the physical impurity and do the wudu. But he was not able to remove the physical impurity. Then we are going to talk about it. But let's consider here lighter stage, the wudu stage. So what does he do? ففي هذه الصورة يقطع طوافه ويتطهر. In this case, be it after the fourth round, in the fifth round, in the sixth round, in the seventh round, just because, no problem. Go get your wudu, less than 10 minutes. You have the bottle with you, okay? Keep this kind of bottle, this enough for wudu. Go in a corner, behind Maqam Ibrahim, there's an area for wudu. Okay, just go there and do the wudu and come back. Less than 10 minutes. Yeah, keep your bottle with you. Okay, but no, don't do wudu with Zamzam water. It's written only for drinking, okay? Then your wudu will be invalid. So, ففي هذه الصورة يقطع طوافه. He discontinues his tawaf. ويتطهر, purifies himself. ويتم من حيث قطعه. He completes it from wherever he had left it. Third scenario. So first scenario was before completing the fourth round. Whoopsie daisy, repeat everything. The second was after completing the fourth round, whenever, purify yourself, come and continue wherever you left. Wherever you left, mean take a few steps behind. Don't start. No, I left here. I took a screenshot. This is the tile. This is the, I will, no. You can go behind a few steps, like 5-10 steps, and then start. Then continue. Okay. So this was scenario number 2, happened after the fourth round, but it was he was compelled to, he was forced to, not in his hand. Third scenario, no, he could have waited. He completed fourth round, he could have waited. He was. I mean, he didn't have to release his gas or invalidate his wudu or do something. So the which invalidates the wudu. So here he says number 3, أن يكون الحدث بعد إتمام الشوط الرابع. He encountered the metaphysical impurity after completing the fourth round. مع صدور الحدث منه بالاختيار. But the hadath was encountered optionally. How optionally? Voluntarily. Number 2 was involuntarily. Here it is voluntarily. Okay? So here, what do you mean by voluntarily? Yeah, he was in a mood. He had stomach full, and now he's in mood. He enjoys releasing it. Phew. Kiss your tawaf goodbye. But I've done fourth round. Yeah, but you could have waited 3 rounds. You are not compelled to release it. Okay. So, but no buts. So say this Sistani Damadullah says, أن يكون الحدث, but it was voluntarily بعد تمام الشوط الرابع. So here, والأحوط وجوبا, say this Sistani uses precautionary measure. Complete and repeat. Okay? Complete and repeat. Obligatory precaution. If some marja says only complete, that's fine. Because he completed fourth round. Say this says you did it voluntarily. You could have waited. Why did you whoopsie daisy yourself? Okay. So here, والأحوط وجوبا, on the basis of obligatory precaution in this scenario, في هذه الصورة, أن يتم طوافه, go get your purification, complete your rounds which were left, because you did fourth round, 4 rounds completed. So if it was the gas came in 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, whatever rounds, go get your purification, complete the round which was remaining, and then do the whole tawaf back again. So these are the three scenarios. Let's see, what do we have? Uh, yeah, this is easy. This is application of rule of istishab. Do you know rule of istishab? I keep repeating it. If my dress was najis, yaqinan, with certainty, and then I doubted, did it become najis or not? What will you consider? The previous state. Previously it was yaqeen, and the doubt encountered, and the doubt said it might have gone najis. No, 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 no might. Take the previous certainty. It is pure. Let's say opposite. I know it was najis, but I don't remember washing it. Did I wash it? Did I not wash it? Yes and no, yes and no. We will say, go and wash it. Why? I'm doubting only, but previous state was najis. Now we are doubting it purified or not, not purified. So that's the application of this rule here. So let's take it, it's easy. It's about hadath, encountering the hadath, encountering the metaphysical impurity. What was your previous state? I was pure. I was on wudu. I'm doubting. Did something come out or not? When this guy kicked me with his elbow, whoopsie daisy, did it really happen or no? I was able to hold it. Okay, I'm doubting. Did it release or not? So here we will say that no, it did not. Or no, you got your metaphysical impurity encountered. Now you doubt, did I do my wudu or not? No, you did not do wudu. That's as easy as we can put. إذا شك, ruling number 286, إذا شك في الطهارة قبل الشروع في الطواف. If he was doubting in the purity, did he purify himself or not? Before starting the tawaf. فإن علمه, so if he had knowledge, أن الحالة السابقة, the previous state was purification, he was in purity, كانت هي الطهارة, وكان الشك في صدور الحدث بعدها, and the doubt was that did the hadath encounter after that previous certain purity, yes or no? If you say ignore your doubt, لم يعتني بالشك, says then the doubt should be ignored because you have previous certainty and purity. Now you have a doubt about encounterance of the impurity. No, you are pure. If your previous state was not purity, okay, and your doubt was initial, I don't know. Was I pure or not pure? So we will consider not pure because purity is an encounterance. Human is impure by default. Okay? Except for Masum. I don't want to go into that philosophical area. But apparently when they apply the rules, yes, the rules are apparent regardless of their inner impurity. So Ma'sumin, or let's come back to our realm, keep the Ma'sumin on the side. So now we have a human is by default impure. So taharat, purity is encounterance. So if you doubt that did you purify yourself or not, that means you are impure. Okay. If you doubt, was I pure or not before? That means you are impure. So the default form is impurity, and purity is an encounterance. So if you don't have that past purity, certainty in purity, then the problem is that you were impure. Then you are doubting in the encounterance of purity. Then we will say that no, get your wudu. So he says, wa illa, if there was no certainty in purity, past purity, wajabat alayhi at-tahara qabla at-tawaf. It will become obligatory upon him to obtain purity before performing the tawaf. So this is the ruling for before starting your tawaf. Now we take the ruling of during the tawaf. During the tawaf. وإذا شك في الطهارة في الأثناء فإن كانت الحالة السابقة هي الطهارة فحكم ما تقدم. However, if while doing a tawaf he doubts Did I whoopsie daisy or not? Did I become impure or not? We'll say, what was your previous state? Pure, I did the wudu. Okay, you are on wudu. Same as we mentioned previous. Before the tawaf, during the tawaf, as long as you doubt in the encounters of impurity, we'll use istishab. So he says, if the previous state was the certainty in purity, then the ruling is, as we mentioned, that means he will maintain the ruling of purity. Otherwise, so now we have a difference here. Otherwise, if the doubt in now is not, there's no past certainty. Now we have a default situation. He might have got wudu, he might not have gotten wudu. So default is impurity, okay? But this default rule will not be used after completing fourth round. Before tawaf, we use the default rule. I don't know, did I do the wudu or not? No. Certainty, default form is impurity. So go do. In this case, during the tawaf, it's different. We have another ruling, which is called قاعدة الفراغ. Rule of completion. Rule of completion says if you are in the ibadah, in the worship, after you finish a segment, you doubt in the purity that he says no. Rule of completion, as long as you have completed, you did purity. You'll consider you had done purity. This is called, those who are studying Hausa, they will be taking this in Qawaid al-Fiqhiyya, general rules of jurisprudence. It's called Qa'idatul Faragh. Faragh means completion. So let's see what this Sistani says. وإلا فإن كان الشك قبل تمام الشوط الرابع. If it was before completing the fourth round, remember that fourth round, before completing just a little bit left, he doubts, Shaitan came. Oh, did you get your purity or not? Did you do the wudu before tawaf or not? Default form is, there's no certainty in purity. So default form is impurity. Okay, go get your purity. But it's doubt, yes. Default form is impurity. Go get your purity, redo the whole thing. Okay, because it's before fourth round. So before fourth round is going to be similar to the scenario before starting tawaf. However, ثم استأنف الطواف. So that means he will redo the tawaf if it was before fourth round. وإن كان الشك بعد إتمامه بعده أتمه بعد تجديد الطهارة. If it was after completing the fourth round and doubt came, here will we use istishab? No, because the default form is impurity. So why are we telling him to go get your purity and complete the tawaf? We are using a qa'idatul faragh because he's completed 4 rounds and the doubt encountered. That means he became impure now. So after completing a segment, if you doubt in the purity or impurity, say the past was okay, but upcoming I need to pure. I'll give you another example. If you open the chapter of Salat, Salat al-Dhuhr and Asr. If before Salat al-Dhuhr you doubt, did I get my wudu or not? Get your wudu and pray Salat al-Dhuhr and Asr. After completing Salat al-Dhuhr, I doubt. Did I get my wudu? Wait, you completed Dhuhr. For Dhuhr, inshallah, you are okay. You did your tahara. But I don't know, I'm doubting, you did. If you are certain you did not do tahara before Dhuhr, go get your tahara and redo Dhuhr. But you're doubting. And the rule of faragh, the rule of completion says, when you complete an act of worship and then you doubt, carry on. Okay? Okay, so Salat al-Dhuhr, okay. What about Salat al-Asr? Get your wudu. Because you have not completed Asr. You have not even started Asr. So here the same thing. Four round completes and doubts. We tell them 4 rounds are okay. Go get your tahara and complete the remaining 3 rounds. So this is what he says, وإن كان الشك بعد الشوط الرابع, after the fourth round, أتمه. Okay, بعد تجديد الطهارة, after renewing the purification, after doing gaining, obtaining the purity, he uh, he completes it. And finally, we'll take this rule. No, I think this rule is yeah, this rule is related to قاعدة الفراغ. So I'm going to take rule 287, but it is rule of completion also is applied here. Rule number 287. وإذا شك في الطهارة بعد الفراغ. If he doubts in the purity, that means, did I do my wudu or not? Okay, before the tawaf. When does he doubt? When are you doubting? بعد الفراغ من الطواف. He completed his tawaf. We said the fourth round, you did fourth round. Okay, but do wudu for the remaining. Now we have completed that. You just passed the Hajj al-Aswad, going to Maqam Ibrahim. Oh, did I do the wudu or not before the tawaf? Khalas, carry on. You did the wudu. Don't let the shaitan mess up with your mind. Shaitan likes to create waswas and shak and shak and shak. So there's a rahmah, mercy of Allah that these rules are there, dedicated by and narrated by our Aimma alayhi salam. So he says, إذا شك في الطهارة بعد الفراغ من الطواف لم يعتني بالشك. If somebody doubts in the tahara, in the purity, after the completion of the tawaf entirely, he would ignore his doubt. وإن كانت الإعادة أحوط استحبابا, even though it is recommended to redo. ولكن تجب الطهارة لصلاة الطواف. Again, tawaf done, no need to redo the wudu, no need to redo the tawaf. But I've just done the tawaf and I doubt. Okay, so wait. There's another wajib coming, next wajib. Remember Salat al-Dhuhr? Okay, Salat al-Asr, you do redo the wudu. 4 rounds, okay, the other 3 rounds, you do the wudu. So here, same thing. Your tawaf is okay. Go and maintain the wudu or redo the wudu, obtain the wudu for Salat al-Tawaf, not for tawaf. Your tawaf, qa'idatul faragh is taken care of. But your Salat al-Tawaf is going to be doubt before starting, not after completing. So this is what he wanted to say. I think ruling number 288, I'll keep it, that if somebody was not able to obtain wudu, إذا لم يتمكن المكلف من الوضوء لعذر. For some reason, he was not able to. He did not have his bottle with him. He was a pain in foot. He cannot go all the way far and come back. And there are circumstances. People encounter circumstances. He can't. He really can't. In front of Allah, between him and Allah, it's not lazy. He really can't get the wudu. Okay. فمع إذا لم يتمكن المكلف من الوضوء لعذر, if the responsible person cannot may obtain the wudu due to an excuse. فمع اليأس, an excuse could not be just walking, it could be sickness, injury, whatever, which is discussed in the chapter of tayammum. فمع اليأس, he's hopeless, this excuse will not be removed. فمع اليأس من زواله يتيمم ويأتي بالطواف. I know that until I leave Makkah, this excuse is going to stuck with me, an injury, the bleeding, whatever things are preventing him from doing the wudu, okay? And it's going to stay. I'm hopeless in the removal of this excuse. فمع اليأس من زواله يتيمم ويأتي بالطواف. Perform the tayammum and perform the tawaf, no problem. وإذا لم يتمكن من التيمم أيضا, if he was not able to perform the tayammum, serious excuse he has, God forbid, he got a car accident, whatever, now he is on wheelchair and all his leg and hand are all gypsum. So even tayammum is very difficult. He can't move anything, neither he has someone who could help him out. First of all, people say, what brought him inside the Tawaf with all this gypsum surrounded like a mummy, so he can't move. But any of the hypothetical situation, let's understand the ruling, okay? You can have a better scenario than mine. Sometimes my scenarios are messed up. So you can have a better scenario. This is the thing which comes in my mind, improvised. So let's say he cannot. He cannot perform tayammum. So what will he do? And he's hopeless. And this excuse is not going to be removed until he leaves Makkah. فمع اليأس من زواله يتيمم ويأتي بالطواف. Okay, this is what we said. وإذا لم يتمكن من التيمم أيضا, and if he cannot perform the tayammum also, جرى عليه حكم من لم يتمكن من أصل الطواف. The ruling of the one who is unable to perform the tawaf from the beginning will be applied. Like somebody cannot perform the tawaf at all. So the ruling will be applied. But I can do the tawaf. No. Without wudu, without tayammum, you cannot do. But I can do the tawaf without tayammum. No, we don't want that tawaf. Okay, you do your tawaf, but the ruling will be applied. So, what are the ruling? Step number one, step number two. فإذا حصل له اليأس من التمكن. Hopeless that until they leave Makkah, he will never ever to regain his normal condition and relief from his excuse. So he will not hopeless of being relieved from that excuse which prevents him from the wudu and tayammum. So what will happen? The ruling is easy. لزمته الاستنابة للطواف. It will be compulsory for him to appoint someone to do the tawaf on his behalf. والأحوط الأولى أن يأتي هو أيضا, because he's in mood of doing tawaf, no problem. Recommended precaution, you do the tawaf as well. خلاص. That is all. Do not get upset. You are here. Do the tawaf without wudu tayammum, which you are not able to do tayammum wudu, but you need to appoint someone to do the proper tawaf with the proper wudu for you. Okay, so he says that it's important for him to appoint a representative, and he performs the tawaf also based on the recommended precaution. It doesn't have to be recommended precaution without purification. What about a woman she encounters monthly period? Ruling number 289, يجب على الحائض والنفساء. It is obligatory upon a woman who is in the monthly period or postnatal, like post delivery bleeding. بعد انقضاء أيامها, after the days were done. Okay, so you'll say, what brought a woman who is performing delivery here? Baba, a woman came, she was in 7th month, she wanted to get blessed with Hajj, and whoopsie daisy, the child came out 2 months earlier. What can we do? Should we tell the child, no, stop until she comes with the Umrah? It's a call of God. You don't get calls of God and you get to use emergency. This is one of the calls of God. Whenever the time comes, no one knows except Allah. Even the doctors, they don't know. They say in 9 months, in 9 hours, it takes sometimes 15 hours. Sometimes they say 9 hours. In 1 hour, she get the baby. So this is a call of God. So she came for Umrah, not expecting to deliver the child. And she delivered it. So, and then she is in her postnatal period. She's done with her 10 days or whatever days she's supposed to be in the state of impurity or the haid. They're done. So now they have to do the ghusl for tawaf after the haid, after the nifas. وعلى المجنب, male or a female, who encountered the impurity of janaba, the sexual defilement, they have to perform the ghusl for the tawaf. So hayd, nifas, we said physical, metaphysical, minor impurity, major. So this ruling is looking at major impurity. So these three people, the one who is janaba, do your ghusl, then tawaf. Finished hayd, do your ghusl, then tawaf. Finished nifas period, post delivery bleeding period, do your ghusl and do tawaf. But what if the ghusl was not feasible? ومع تعذر الاغتسال واليأس من التمكن منه. What if he was or she was unable to perform the ghusl for some excuse, certain excuse, and that this excuse was going to last long in a way that that person became hopeless from performing the ghusl, okay, before they leave Makkah? Fine, perform tayammum. ومع تعذر الاغتسال واليأس من التمكن منه يجب الطواف مع التيمم. Tawaf becomes obligatory with tayammum. What if the time runs and the excuse is not removed and they cannot perform tayammum? Like, remember that a mummy guy? They cannot even perform tayammum in any ways. والأحوط الأولى حينئذ الاستنابة أيضا. That means the recommended precaution will be that to appoint a person representative who could represent you and do the tawaf and salatul tawaf on your behalf. Sa'i they can do. Safa and Marwa doesn't require purity. Okay, but tawaf and salatul tawaf, so do with the tayammum. And so do with the tayammum and also do yourself as well as a recommended precaution. Do by yourself. But here is a technical question. You are telling us it's recommended precaution to appoint someone, okay, someone as a na'ib. But what about them? Number one, this is how the ruling is. Let's go back. ومع التعذر مع تعذر الاغتسال. If ghusl was unachievable, واليأس من التمكن منه, and there was hopelessness in performing it or achieving it until the caravan leaves, until the flight leaves, until the last day of Makkah. So what will they do? That because of this hopelessness, the water will not be available, or the injury or whatever prevents them from performing the ghusl will stay until that day. يجب الطواف مع التيمم. That's fine. Let them do tawaf tayammum. In this, it's recommended precaution to let somebody do proper tawaf for them. Recommended precaution, because they are able to do tayammum. The third, so first, do your ghusl. Can't do the ghusl. Hopelessness, do your tayammum and do your tawaf. But recommended precaution, let somebody do for you as well. Third scenario, we can't do tayammum as well at all. And we are hopeless that this excuse is not going to be relieved or until we leave. So in this case, perform, وَلْيَأْسٍ مَنَ التَّمَكُّنْ مِنْهُ تَتَعَيِّنْ الْإِسْتِنَابَةِ. In this case, appoint someone, naib, representative, to perform for you. Now the question pops up. Sometimes our youth, they ask, Shaykhna, there in wudu you said, when no wudu, no tayammum was feasible, you said let the naib do, let them do their own without wudu and tayammum. Why can't they do here? The naib does, and they can do without ghusl. You know why can't they? There's a technical situation here. What? They are not in a minor metaphysical impurity. They are in a major monthly period, post-delivery bleeding, janaba. They can't enter Masjid al-Haram. You got it? So here, we can't say that let the naib do and you also do. No, you don't enter Masjid al-Haram. Stay in the Safa Marwa area. So this is something which we wanted to discuss today. And ruling number 290 talks about women in period. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى